hinata kunanka apusaywa hinata kunanka kushenke sumak chaymi chisuma kanima kunanka apuwana kaure sumak kusarek purerek ñamparek kunanka apuchikun apupumawanka sumak kunanka spinchaykis kusay ñamparis kunanka hinata kunanka kushenke sumak munarek purerek ñamparek kunanka unkis charikis kunanka apumachikuichu waynapichu kunanka apuyanantin apumasentin hinata kunanka apushalqantay sumakta kunanka spinchasqa purerqa ñamparek kunanka kushenki sumak kusarek ñampares kunanka hinallata kunanka kushenki hankuna kunanka chaymichi sumak qaynima kunanka hinata kunanka apuwaynanika riqasa sumak puriniyuq ñampaniyuq sumak chaymichi sumak qaynima hinata kunanka apusawasiray pichiray sumakta kunanka spinchaykininchik kunanka sumak qaynita hinata kunanka spinchasqa kunanka kushenki sumak kusarek ñamparek kunanka hinata spinchasqa purirqa ñamparek kunanka kushenki sumak kusaripis ñamparipis hinata kunanka hankumi kunanka apachatusan hampi kunanka hinata kunanka apawasangate waynawasangate pero pucha pachayachache hinata kunanka Wilkamayo amarumayo hinata kunanka sumak chaymichi sumak qaynima allin kawsarek purerek ñamparek kunanka spinchasqa purerek ñamparek kunanka kushenki sumak kunanka spinchaykinis kunanka mis kunanka sumak kawsarek
Kausaypaq, it's a word of celebration, comes from Runasimi language. It's a very, very old language, as Sanskrit. Kausaypaq means it's a celebration that you realize that you have a good living, that you are choosing well in your life. Kausaypaq is the recognition of the whole universe, that you are not anymore seeing things like this. You are now recognizing that you are interacting with so much more and you have the choice to interact with in this universe. The word Kausaypaq is that recognition. It's the first step of the 7 levels of consciousness according to Andean cosmovision. The first step is like you recognize that you are living in the Kausaypaq, which is the electromagnetic bubble of the universe. Once you understand that you also are part of it. You also are a pokpo, a bubble of energy interacting with a Kausaypaq. So start to looking things as bubbles, as energy bubbles, and we are constantly interacting, receiving and sending energies with whatever we are like talking, whoever we are talking, whatever we're sitting down. We're all the time like interchanging energies, absorbing and giving. For me, it's like you realize that you're all the time in this interaction. When you realize that, the second level of consciousness according to Andean cosmovision is the anja, the experience. Now you are experiencing so many sources from the whole Kausay, from the whole universe, and you are like experiencing every single aspect of the whole universe. Then you get into the third level of consciousness, that it's not about experiencing everything, it's about to experiencing with Munai. The Munai is love. That's the third level of consciousness according to the Indian cosmovision. So when we are like choosing and experiencing so many different tools of the whole Kausay, we're starting like feeling our heart and to choose with love. But then love is not enough, because it's not about just to give and to feel love. You need to also learn how to love yourself and not to give too much, because you're losing your power at the same time. So you need to learn how to give love, and that means is to give it with wisdom. That's where it comes the yachai, and the yachai is the fourth level of consciousness, which is now you are understanding that to live the Kausaypaq, you got to be wise and filling your heart with wisdom, and to start choosing the whole sources of nature and the whole Kausay to feel well, to feel good, but with wisdom. When you understand that wisdom and the love they are like connected in order to interact with the whole. Then it comes the jankai, which is the action. So now you are like putting the actions in order to bring conditions into your life, because now you're choosing with wisdom, with love. Now your actions that you are doing because you understand this, it's making your life easier. The kausaypaq, the life is making easier. As soon as the person understands that you got to be connect your wisdom with your heart and putting actions into it, then you realize that this is like a law, and it's the law of Aini. You need to bring balance, and Aini is reciprocity into all these laws. You need to take care about yourself, what you're choosing, with what you're interacting. If it's with love, with wisdom, you're putting actions into it in order to happen. When the person gets into the sixth level of consciousness, which is the Aini, you basically are dancing with all these laws because you understand these laws. And then it appears the Kausaypaq. The Kausaypaq is like you are the creator of reality. You get into the seventh level, that the place in which you are right now is what you were creating with the love, with the wisdom, with the actions you're putting, because you recognize the whole universe as a living being. Kausaypaq will be like the recognition of these laws. So you are living with happiness, with love, in communion with the earth. Kausaypaq is a celebration because you get into a state of consciousness that you are living in harmony with the whole. The Queros are the directly descendants of the Incans, that when the Spaniards they arrived here 500 years ago, the Incans they ran away to live up in the hills, in the mountains, and just like 80 years ago they came out, and many tour operators, agencies, they want to work with them because they keep all this knowledge. Queros is the only community that's still preserving this knowledge. There are several pachas, there are several spaces that's inside of yourself that we can interact with. When I was like talking with them, they were explaining me that we have this possibility to go into the creator, inside of us, into so many different pachas, spaces in us to understand more about ourselves. How come like they can know and preserve this knowledge for so many thousands of years? Because they were connected to the earth, and they don't have too much toxins and fake food that makes a trick to our genes. Genes wants to like activate the memory on us, but the signals that we are sending into our body with food, with drugs, or with propagandas, commercials, news, it's just like maintain us in a certain belief, certain frequency. But they don't have these beliefs, they don't have news, they don't have even food, they don't have that. Human beings, it has the capability to adapt. I think that they adapt into the mountains with so pure signals of the earth. So that means that you are so much closer into your essence because you are not eating crap and carrying fake beliefs and stuff. These people, they understood this because it was a heritage, but also because the mountains were presenting to them into their dreams and talking to them about what's going to happen, about the future, about the past, about who they are. They have like a connection with the mountains, and they understand the laws, and there are so many ways to understand this. My way, it was with the help of the Huacas, the sacred places, the plants. Then when I met Queros, then I was like walking with the Queros. I think these people, they have the power to open up paths for you to really connect with yourself. Gaining so much knowledge from them, from the places, from the plants, from science, in so many ways, allows me to really to connect with the womb, with the origin. That's why it was called Cusco or Cosco, because it's the navel, it's the belly bottom, and it's the place of the origin of your roots, the place where you connect with your original roots or your original mother. So you can know about yourself, you can know where to go, who you are. I think that this place has so much for you if you really like start to go into these places and connect with them. You don't really need to have a plant in the place, you just need to sit down and to talk to the place. And the place will appear into your dreams as the mountains were talking to the Keros by their dreams. According to season, the Keros says that there now is the prophecy of the eagle and the condor that are flying together, and that's why they came out, because so many people are having a shift. So many people from many different parts of the world are coming for one prey, and to recognize that we are sons of one whole consciousness or one whole Mother Earth. Keros for me are so important, so important, because these people, they show me so much what even I was researching in science, in quantum physics. What really is space, what really is matter, what really is energy, what's time, all these things, they understood that. But they have a different way to explain to you. When I go into science, and then I go with the shamanism, both are talking the same thing, but there are things that shamanism can explain to you, and there are things that science can explain to you. But I think that with the help of so many different tools and routes and information, I think that you are allowing your memory to receive a guidance in the time when you really need it. I think that someone can reach so much information, studying in books or whatever. The sacred places can teach you thousands of years light of information, what you can do it in one life reading. That's mostly how I learn. It's all inside of you. You go into this place and then you start to receive guidance, to receive stories, information, mythology. You can go every single place in the world just with consciousness, with the help of these portals for consciousness. I think we are here to start using these places as it was before, thousands of years. These places are waiting for you to really connect with them, to tell you so many things about your roots, what you're holding. There are places to release your densities, places to release the hucha, the dense energies. There are places to understand these sacred places. It has a role into consciousness, but you need to understand that every single place, it's affecting you in some way to heal you, to remember what only matters. These shifts was happening forever, all the time, and it's coming now again. It's written in the rocks, it's written in the temples, it's written everywhere by ancient cultures, how the movement of the cycles of the universe, our galaxy, how the sun is affecting the earth, how everything is affecting into a shift for us, to go down or to go up. The fall of the consciousness appears when human being wants to reach a higher level of consciousness. And once they get there, they get into a cage, they get into a concept. Science are creating, modifying the DNA, playing with the genes. I think we are damaging the earth in a way. So that's why it comes a kind of a cycle that renews the earth again, because you reach into a certain level that then you go down because you reach up in a way that you think, oh, I got it. And when you get there, it's the Pachamama, it's called, it's the new beginning. And could appear with cataclysms, could appear in different ways. Same inventions of the human being, playing with the earth, with the electromagnetic poles. I think this was happening so many times. What's interesting is that in the Indian mythology, you see that there was seasons of love, seasons of high consciousness, but then there was other season of darkness. And that's what I wanted to share with you, that this is always happening. We're passing through cycles, as in within us, but also collective consciousness. The ancients, they were talking about these things, that we're going to have a shift. And this shift, it's because of Wakon. Wakon is the darkness. The chaos precipitates evolution. So we need this darkness in order to renew ourselves. It's firmly connected, both. So I think there are seasons of darkness and seasons of light, and there's a shift right now that people are going or too down, too dense, or it's opportunity to go very, very high, the fall of the consciousness or the collective consciousness affect us just because of the number of hearts they are in tune with the earth or not. And according to science, because there is like a electromagnetic frequency in the earth. Your heart has the same electromagnetic frequency of the earth. But if you are believing in certainly low things, your vibration is not in tune with the earth. If you feel like sad, anger, jealous, or whatever, you're damaging the earth. You're affecting the earth. You're affecting the field. So imagine all the population in the world, how many hearts feel sad right now or feel depressed. They are affecting the field. They are affecting the earth. I think that as much as persons, they are feeling sad. Consciousness is like having a certainly pulse of electromagnetic field that's saying it's the time to renew again. What I'm doing is like helping the people to get in tune with their heart so they are not affecting the field anymore. If you want to help the earth and to help others, start with your heart. And then your heart will affect the field, and it's going to go through ley lines, because the earth is connected by seques according to the Indian cosmovision. Seques is the veins of Mother Earth. Now we are in one vein. Whatever we feel now, we are affecting our future, we are affecting people. It's been said that only the 6% of the population that has in tune with a natural electromagnetic pulse of the earth and your heart, just the 6% of the population, it's enough to change completely the whole collective consciousness of the earth and the grid of the earth. Well, thanks of the dark aspect I passed in my life in rehab, knowing about psychiatric people with mental disorders, I think that allows me to help two different kinds of people. One, people that they are trapped with, drugs, they're depressed or whatever. These people, they come into me to help them to realize that I've been also in that state too, and I can help you to recover your own essence again, because I've been with you at some point. Being in rehab and being with psychiatrics, it helped me to really understand these people and to really help them to move forward, to empower itself and to recover its own essence, so they skip the drugs, they skip what is affecting to them. And I work with people that they want to heal others, people who they reach certain level of consciousness, of hypnotherapists, psychologists, different gurus, yoga teachers, sound healers, different kinds of people that they are healing, but they want to improve more with another different kind of sources of nature. I work with these two people, but there's a very clear pattern. I can see that I don't do much when I train people to heal others, because the plants and the places start to show to them without speaking too much to them, because they are already in tune, they are already feeling love and working with light, working with energy. So then they come here and in 5 days they start whoa, wow. But with the people that they are not in tune, having depression, still with medication and stuff, I got to know what kind of medication, what kind of drugs you were having, what kind of vibes you're holding right now, because there's different kind of addiction, different kinds of behavior, different kinds of personalities that we engage because of the substance or because beliefs or traumas. Once I feel the person, I know what to give them, what's its process. And for these people, it's not easy, they got to challenge so much, because they are holding so much that they don't know what they really are holding. But when we use the places, the plants, we use shamanism, we use sacred geometry, we use meditation, we use all that, the person start to see it in a different perspective, what really he has, what really are his beliefs, what they're doing with his life. They first see the darkness, because they are not in tune with their own self. So they're going to see bad things, they're going to see traumas, they're going to see why they are taking this drug, or if my father was alcohol and I'm passing through this or whatever. Many things that you can not understand why you are engaged in that cycle. My work allows these people to see in so many different perspectives what you're holding and what you're doing with your life. So you receive like a kind of a slap, no? Boom, boom, pa, pa. You vomit, you purge, you pee, you poo. You start like taking out all these things that they are holding, but in an energy level, because we are touching the energy. Know that their beliefs, their food, their drugs, it's installed in an energy way. Once we give the plants, we take it in different places, it starts to take these shadows and darkness into the surface first. That's the Ukupacha realm, not the serpent realm. So to go to the condor, the higher self, you got to challenge the darkness, the serpent. They start like to purge, to die, to suffer. But it's a different way of suffering. It's not like suffering with drugs. It's just like allowing you to see what you're doing with your life. Once they see the darkness, they start like to choose. Since there's darkness, also there's light. First they need to see the shadows, these demons, these energies, and to take it out. And this takes sometimes more than a week. Depends how many years you've been conditioned into that situation. Everything is possible, everyone can change. It's just different process for everyone. It's about like to keep cleaning yourself, because I am all the time absorbing dark stuff too, and I got like to clean myself and also to absorb vital energy as well. That's what I mostly do with people. It changes the chip, it changes the mood, it changes everything, how you see yourself. If you are stuck into darkness and you are like, oh, I'm blind, or oh, I'm stupid, or I'm silly, or I'm that. That's why we like coming into the Andes, using the plants, the power places, the earth. You really understand that you go farther beyond what you think you are. That's what I do, to help people to understand that there is so much that you are not paying attention, that it's there, and you are not paying attention, you are only distracted. It's just that, just distract. You're not sick, it's just like a distract. So I found 3 blind persons. I talked to them that I want to give you medicine and stuff, and I gave DMT to one of them, and as soon as he received the medicine, he started like crying. And when he's opened his eyes, he told me, "Thank you for allowing me to see at least once," and he was crying. For me, this was interesting because, you know, we have a third eye, and the ancients, they were talking about the third eye, and the science says that our third eye, well, as the Egyptians, they were saying, it's our pineal gland. And our pineal gland, it has ocular receptors, it's looking upwards. It's constantly receiving signals. It's like a kind of antenna that it's catching signals every time what you eat, what you believe. But basically this pineal gland or third eye, it can be stimulated with breath work, with certain plants, with hypnotherapy, and you start to see it's what allows us to see in our dreams, basically. Once more again, it's not about like taking plants to see, because you can get into a loop, and that happens to me once as well. I received so much knowledge and stuff, and then okay, I want to go there, and was increasing the doses, looking for shamans and stuff, but I couldn't allow to go there. And as I was telling you, you go once. Once you show up and you understand this, then you got to put the work here. So then when you do ayahuasca again, you pass to another level. Ayahuasca and the plants is not going to show you more if you're not applying the work here. I understand that so many possibilities of these plants that even can allow us to see inside of us, and allow us to see even though if we don't have eyes. And I have so much reports that you see patterns. Like for example, people who can like see parents or people who love, and it's not, they die, they pass away, and they're holding stuff in their heart. And then when we are into the spiritual world, we see them, we can connect them, we can connect with them. The belief that you have about a friend or family that passed away, it changed. And because now you know that it's in a beautiful place. But as there is beautiful places, there are also horrible places. I understood that our spirit goes into these fields or these dimensions according to the weight of your heart. How much you were giving, how much you were feeling love, how much you were feeling poor me about myself. So these are vibrations, that you are like shaping your spirit with that vibrations. And when you die, this mask goes away, and just it's gonna have these vibrations that you were holding for all this time in the 3D. So then when the body goes out, then this vibration, it goes attached to a certainly dimension that allows you to guide people, or maybe you becoming a rock here in the Kaipacha. But according to Andean cosmovision, the goal is to go back home, which is the Taita Inti, go back to the sun, to the source, go back to the light. But to go there, we have to give so much. As the stars are doing, the clouds, the grass, everything is interacting with. I'm so grateful to be human. I am a tool of earth to really help her, affect her in a way to help people. So many people, they are not applying what the plants they are teaching you, because then you are getting mad or bored or anger or whatever in your daily life, because you do shamanism here, leave your family, your job, everything, but then you go back into your life. You're not all the time doing this. It's about to bring balance, to take care about your goals, your wishes, your desires, so you are not just managed by that. You can do it, you can play with it, but go back into the center every time. The person who can allow to heal and to guide someone, it got to be chosen. And to be chosen, it's by so many different ways. For example, I be chosen myself, like being in drugs, being stuck in a dark side in my life, against my heart. That was a mood, a state of consciousness on me that I was trapped. But at the same time, giving you an opportunity to go into this dark aspect that could be in so many different ways, because it's choosing you to face your shadows, your darkness, so you can go beyond, recognize that, and then play with both, recognize both sides of it. When you are in a dark moment, it's in a state of consciousness that you are believing about that in a certain moment in your life. For you to really transcend yourself and to help others, it doesn't exist really a bad thing. It's something that you create because you have so much power, but you didn't direct it well. I think I see it, okay, Pachamama is giving me these moments, it chooses me to go against the wall, boom, bam, beam, beam, because she knows that I have the power to go from it and to really do something with it. That's how you've been chosen to be a shaman. It's not just by being touched by a thunder, how here in the Andean way they see it. You're walking in the mountains and if a lightning comes and it touches you, you almost die. And it says that God chooses you because you're being touched by a light, by a thunder, and you almost die. And that means that you are an alto mesa yog, because you survive into that thunder, but you receive a gift. That's how in Andean cosmovision they are being chosen to heal. You need to survive from it.
I was a child through the whole thing. I couldn't see.
Okay, you being in a black state.
Start to see or sense a little bit of light, and I felt like I would climb my way to the surface. And
what they were telling you, these voices?
In different languages, but I knew they were telling me that I was ugly and worthless.
Okay.
I would sense the light and go towards the light, and then I would fall back down into blackness.
You're like in loops.
I would start to hear the music, and it would feel lighter, and I was crawling, like I was stuck, but
You know that you did all this for all your family. You know, to see in a different aspect what you're really holding. You know, in what spaces it's mostly you are stuck in. You know, and this is just like a stop in your life to see, to observe, you know, what we're paying attention. Every time like we judge, every time like we complain, every time like this darkness taking over control of you. You know what I mean? Right? It's just like a time to make a choice. Because you saw the light too. You know? And that's the most important thing. In order to go to the heaven, you need to pass through the circle. It's the Uku.
We talk about maestros, ancestors. We all have masters. We all have different roots, but at the same time we belong to the earth that has so many different ancestors that we also has our guidance. We just need to activate these maestros in us, this guidance, and this only is activated when you feel love, when you feel peace. But you can see these masters as well. You can connect with these ancestors. It's everywhere. One of my main maestros is this mountain. It's Pitu Sirai mountain. No, it's called Apu Pitu Sirai. It's my maestro because I've been called to this mountain so many times to fasten, to pass so many experiences. It presents in my dreams. My maestros, it's the earth, the plants, nature, the mountains. I know that many different people can call maestros to certainly teachers, you know, healers. Maestros come from the stars, from this earth, from the world. It comes from different places within you. You can even interact with them. You can see it. You can talk with them. Also, I have maestros as the Keros, no? These Andean people who is carrying this Andean cosmovision wisdom. When you are looking the earth, that it's a living being who is teaching in so many ways. I call maestros as well people who teach my darkness, you know, because it allows me to understand my shadows. We are all maestros. We are all maestros in so many ways. When we talk about plants, there's master plants and there's medicinal plants. Plants that teach you to heal and plants that heals you. And plants that it's both, no? Mostly the master plants also heals you, but mostly teach you rather than heal you. It teach you how you heal. All these cultures, these tribes, they had a connection with their place, understanding nature, understanding the ways how they connect to their higher self, to their deities. I think what I'm doing is recovering all these roots, all these ancient wisdom from my ancestors, that they left a heritage for me to keep going with this. They left so many maps. For me, master plants, it's a tool of the earth. It's a mechanism of defense of the earth because our heart is damaging the earth in a way. Master plant is teaching you how you go back into your natural harmony and resonance, being in tune with the earth. So the earth creates several mechanisms for you to understand your body, your mind, your heart, how basically you interact with all the whole. So master plants teach you where you are, what you're feeling, what your beliefs are. If we understand the earth and we understand our ancestors, how they were using these plants and applying a little bit with science, you understand that there's so many ways to get into the spiritual world. So I mostly said that master plants teach you about the spirit. Medicinal plants teach you more about your body. San Pedro cactus, also called awakoya, ashuma, washuma. It's a plant that my ancestors were using here in the north of Peru by the Moches, Chimu, and Mochica cultures. They honor the cactus for several years till these cultures disappear, and they left a lot of knowledge about this cactus, how you can use it, how you can take it. Achuma in Quechua means a head that can fly. It's a plant that shows us about our mind a lot, about the connection of our body, the connection with the earth. Washuma, it's a plant that helps you to understand reality. What's reality? What's a perception? Washuma starts to break the illusion of your beliefs and start to teach you that you have a higher connection and a higher understanding. Washuma, it's a night plant. It's a plant that can show our dark side. It's a plant that can show us that we are carrying all the information of all the living beings. It's been said that ayahuasca, mushrooms, DMT, it shows you the why of things, and Washuma, it shows you the how. Washuma also helps you to be very present, very aware, very connected with yourself. It can make you to stop the hungry. It can make you to stop the cold. It gives you a lot of energy. Mescaline, it's a potent alkaloid, very similar to norepinephrine hormone. And norepinephrine hormone, it's a chemic that we segregate when we have 7 to 9 years old. This hormone, it's allowing to see things as new, allowing to see over and over again and to enjoy things over and over again. So it gives us this pleasant emotion, this pleasant feeling that we don't need anything else, that we are connected, we're provided, we're healthy, we're strong. There's different processes that Washuma can show you, in your evolution. Washuma was used a lot in Huacas. There is different deities that the Moches and Mochicas, they draw in these temples. And when you drink Washuma, it's very often that you see this deity in your visions. And it's the guardian of the cactus. This guardian starts to do some surgeries into you, some energetical surgeries, in your energy centers. Yeah, Washuma also helps to irrigate the blood pressure. It helps to heal different illnesses of the mind. It helps to increase more dopamine, more peace in your life. The sacred cactus of Washuma introduced me to Jurema. When you're learning with some plants, then the plants introduce you to another ones. Shows you how you can continue with other plants and integrate all these spirits into your own spirit. Jurema, it's called by the tribes in Brazil, in the Amazon jungle. It's their ayahuasca. The scientific name is Mimosa hostilis or Mimosa tepescohuite in Mexico. It grows in Brazil, Mexico, Guatemala. And it's a plant that I connect a lot. I had very powerful experiences in these places with this plant. Mimosa or Jurema, it's one of my favorite plants. It's very special. It can take you away from your body rather than Washuma that shows the connection with your body. It's completely opposite. So Jurema shows you more about the spirit, shows you more about dying. You die and you are in spirit interacting with different divine places, that resides within you, in different dimensions. Jurema, it's a plant that shows you dying is not bad. You can die so many times. You can meet your people who loves and passed away. You can see them. Yeah, Mimosa hostilis or Jurema has DMT as the main alkaloid, and DMT it's an alkaloid neurotransmitter, an hormone that you even have it in the lungs, in the kidneys, in the pineal gland. You dream, you are creating little amounts of DMT in your pineal gland that allows you to see these dreams. But when you take DMT, an exogenous DMT from the plant, it creates such incredible amounts of quantities of this neurotransmitter that allows you to see with being aware, being conscious. Because when you dream, you are unconscious. It's like having a lucid dream. You know, you are awake, but you are interacting with the spirit. Jurema works in the pineal gland, in the crown chakra, the crown and the third eye. You know, you start like to receive guidance, a lot of intuition, you have a better vision. It's an amazing antioxidant, anti-neurodegenerative. It's an amazing plant that can neuromodulate all your circuits because you are getting into the field, you're getting into the energy field through the spirit. And from the spirit world, you start to change your body, your life. Jurema is a powerful plant that in just like 10-15 minutes can allow you to introduce you to these higher realms that reside within you, to really understand that you are more than you think you are. Jurema or mimosa is also an acacia. It's part of these 1,200 types of acacia. If we go into the Egypt, we see that the Egyptians, they were using also a type of acacia as their way of DMT, as ayahuasca, no? As Brazil Jurema or Mimosa stilis. All these plants carries DMT, that it's an alkaloid that we have in our pineal gland. When the person is using DMT through ayahuasca, through Jurema, through different acacias, you are like working with your third eye, with your crown chakra. You start to receive a lot of guidance with your life, with your masters, you know, your ancestors, your roots. I think many people, they need this kind of, to press that button of reset so they can like choose again their beliefs. When they go away from this reality and they pass to another dimension, who they are on this dimension. They start to ask these jobs, this family, all these, it just like goes in the Kai Pacha, in the middle world. Because you cross the Hanan Pacha, where their ancestors, guidance, divinities are. Like we all are allowed to go there, but just once. Then you got to apply the work in order to meet them again. So Jurema is a very powerful plant that can connect with your guides, with the spiritual world. It can make you a rebirth, you know, a bottom of reset, so you can like start over again, taking care about your thoughts, about your beliefs, about who you are, you know. I am creating a different way to access into the spirituality by a kind of a smokable ayahuasca. And ayahuasca, it's a way to create a spectrum so you can like smoke the DMT, creating different blends of flowers. You know, sometimes I just walk around the mountains and choose the Tumbo Serrano, for example, which is a family of passion flower that carries flavonoids, beta-carbolines, as ayahuasca vine, armelines. Pegano marmala and mimosa, both, one is the DMT and Pegano marmala is the inhibitor. It's even 3 times stronger than ayahuasca vine. I use the Pegano marmala, I extract the alkaloid of DMT from the mimosa, and I transfer the DMT into the Pegano marmala with the passion flower, with the lotus flower, with some coca, with some lavender. All these blend of flowers, it has a spirit. You know, sometimes when you smoke all these blend of flowers with the DMT that I extract from mimosa, these flowers present in your vision start to guide you. And there are several different blends. You know, for example, there's blends that I use for the heart chakra. I use like coca, which works in the heart. I use reishi, that also works in the heart. Bobinsana, which is a plant that it's mostly used for dieting before ayahuasca to open your heart. I use lotus flower, calendula, hanyuka. Different blends affecting different power centers. Peru and Bolivia are sharing Lake Titicaca, which Lake Titicaca is the place of origin of the Incan culture. What is interesting is that these Wilka seeds appears in so many different parts in Chile, Argentina, in Peru. Wilka, it's a plant that really will show you how strong you are, how perfect and divine you are, how powerful you are. It's a medicine that can make you to dilute all your ego completely, all your perception of reality, and from the body you start like to clean and to purge while you're having several visions about your past, your future. It's a plan that really connects with your family. I mean, in this life, it can take you to some situations with your family, allows you to understand why you have these kind of emotions, beliefs. It's a special plan that for me, it goes to heal your lineage, to heal your family. Psilocybe mushrooms, or also called Niños Santos by Maestra Maria Sabina. There's different countries that they use different medicines, but when we talk about mushrooms, we can go a little bit into Mexico, we can go a little bit into Indonesia, India, many parts of the world. We can see a lot of footage of the psilocybe mushrooms. It's been called the meat of the gods by the Greeks. This master plant, it's a plant that can like show you how playful you are. It's like inner child awakening. It works in the heart. It opens up your heart. There's different kinds of psilocybe cubensis, more than 300 types. I work mostly with apes, with B+, with pink tie, with Melmac, with golden teachers, and every single strain has different kinds of cocktails of tryptamines and alkaloids, different kinds of sensations. It improves mental performance, imagination, art, improve happiness. I use this plant a lot for people who are having depression. When they are so depressed, in properly ways of dosages of psilocybe, they can like increase this chemistry of the brain to create more serotonin and dopamine. Most of the psychiatrics, they give antidepressants, which they are just switching off certain receptors because the brain can't create more serotonin. But why you don't like help this person to create serotonin, to create happiness, instead of switching it off the receptor? I think that psilocybe has this potential to increase quantities, amount of oxytocin, of serotonin, of dopamine, melatonin. So you start to neuromodulate all your body, all the circuits in your body. But this needs to be taking care about the dosage. Also, this is not for everyone. We need to know what kind of a problem the person has to know what kind of plant you're gonna serve. But psilocybe, I work for depression, for stress. In dosages more than 3 grams, you had like a very intense journey and connection with the spiritual realm. Mushrooms is one of the only plants that it can be grown every part of the world, basically. But you need to recognize these mushrooms because you can die just eating the wrong one. One of the most important plants for me and for many Andeans here, powerful plant that can allows you to connect to a mind and heart coherence. You are not too managed by your emotions. You are not too controlled by your emotions. You're more like connected into your mind and heart. It allows you to have a lot of strength, a lot of energy. It has the power to transmute things. It is the most complete plant in the world that carries so much vitamins, minerals, protein, and even you can leave only coca leaf. I know Andean people chewing coca leaf all their life till 100 years and still carrying sacks full of feed. They're so strong, and when you ask them, hey, you don't have illnesses and stuff, Yeah, because I always chew coca, and coca makes me to feel very strong, and I never get ill. These people, they don't know doctors much. They don't. They live in the mountains, and they are constantly chewing coca, working all the time with the lands, with the fields. Coca, let's say, that allows you to storage more energy when you feel like too weak, when you don't have oxygen in altitude. The reception of oxygen, it's too low. So when you have coca, your cells start to activate and to move, your atoms start to accelerate, start to vibrate so high, and you start to storage more energy in every single cell in your body. You are more like center, more connected to yourself. Coca is the intermediate between the spiritual world and matter, no? Coca can tell you so many things. It also can present into your dreams, can receive guidance. It's a master plan that can guide you. There's people that they chew coca, for years, but they don't have a connection with it. You really need to understand all the plants has different phases, different stages that interacts with you according how you interact with the plant. Mambe is the way how the Shipibo people from the Amazon jungle they use it, because coca, as I am chewing it, is how the way in the Andes they use it. They just chew it. Mambe, it's basically the coca leaves harvest. They harvest a lot of coca leaves and they toast it a little bit. Once it's toasted, they grind it, singing and praying into the coca with big trunks in a hole in the middle, and they start like to smash the coca, making it a powder. Instead of chewing it, you just grab like a small teaspoon that is the same quantity as a full bag of coca leaf. So this teaspoon goes into your mouth instead of chewing it. When you keep it there, you start like to feel the effect of the coca being activated in yourself. You start like to breathe deeply, your breath start to change. The tribes of Witoto says that you can have decisions or you can talk if you are not chewing coca. Rape or Hape or Rome has different names. Rape comes from the Amazon jungle of Brazil, from the tribes of Yawanawa, Noquecuin, Punicuin. Rape as a psychoactive plant has the tobacco. It also has different kinds of plants that has healing properties. There's thousands types of rape, and this is created by these tribes and different kinds of blends of plants that they make into a powder with a mix of the tobacco with some fossils or bones of animals that also its DNA, its memory, carrying for thousands of years. They have the belief that when you are using this blend of tobacco with these plants and these bones, you are basically activating other cells that you are not constantly activating. So rape help us to go into a normal state. It gives us a chance to choose again our beliefs. It's a way to center ourselves, to be grounded. It induces a short meditation of like 5 minutes, and it increases the immune system. It allows you to activate the two hemispheres of the brain. It cleans your lungs. It's a powerful plant that can like create more energy into you through weakness, because it induces certainly weaknesses, a kind of dizziness, but at that moment you are like going into the field. You are like feeling a lot of energy, a lot of waves of vibration into the body. Rape starts like to expand in all your body, allows you to connect different cells that was inactive. Rape allows you to bring you back, to bring you back into the center, to have another opportunity to start over again. Rape is one of the first plants that I give into the person so it can feel weak. It can feel like a kind of altitude sickness. I induce into this sickness in the first day. So through weakness, we become strength. The person starts to vomit or to purge or to feel quite weak. They rest. The next day, they feel very strong. And I apply again rape, and then we start with breath work. So when the person has the second time rape, it's different from the first time. and then the person starts like to feel, more like a kind of good feeling into the rapé because it passed the hard part already. So rapé prepare us to be centered into these fields when the master plans takes us in different spaces, different pachas. Once cleanse the nose, because it goes into the nose, once the person cleans the nose, you feel that there's more air coming into your lungs. You can like breathe more. You can feel that your lungs are open. So I take advantage of that moment to make a breath work. And when you do that, you are like renewing all the gases that is stored in your cells and taking all the gases out and inhalating, receiving a lot of oxygen, which is energy going into these cells. Rapé, it's not visionary. It just like allows you to go into the center. So with breath work, it can like release better the chemistry of the brain with DMT endogenously with a technique of breath work. And this breath work, it's basically carrying the cerebrospinal fluid up into the pineal gland, making a pressure with a diaphragm. You are pushing the pineal gland and stimulating with a kind of stress because you are like pushing the cerebrospinal fluid into the pineal gland, which makes to create more serotonin, more neurotransmitter, and you start to feel pleasant. You start to like even have visions with just with breath work. That's a technique that I developed using rapé and breath work. Sananga, it's a root that Shipibos or the tribes in the Amazon jungle of Brazil, they add just water. The main alkaloid is 5-OH DMT. It's bufotenin. It's DMT. It doesn't work as a visionary plant, that creates visions. It's just like helps you to heal all the ocular receptors, myopia, cataracts, different disease from the eyes. It allows you to have a connection with your intuition. It heals different circuits in our brain. It creates relaxation after you have sananga. DMT, it's a hormone neurotransmitter. It's an alkaloid. It's everywhere. It's in our kidneys, in our lungs, in our pineal gland. The most important for me is to activate the DMT in our pineal gland. DMT, it's like an alkaloid that allows us to communicate with dimensions, with another different forms of reality. That can be just by not using plants, just by dreaming. You can like go into different places, but also plants can allow you to induce huge quantities of DMT, so you can like go farther beyond than the normal we do with dreams. For example, there was studies with monks, lamas, huge meditators. Now we know that where basically is the activation in your brain when you are a highly meditator of 30 years meditation. What's happening in the brain. Now we know with neuroscience that with brain mapping we can know that with meditation you are basically activating the center of the brain. The two hemispheres start to join together, and there's constellations of circuits around the pineal gland that start to activate. You start like to have a more holistic sensation rather than right and left hemisphere. The pineal gland has little hairs, sensitive hairs that can sense electromagnetic fields. It carries calcite. It's a mineral that it's like folding the pineal gland, but the excess of calcite, it covers the whole hair that senses energy around. There's between a balance between the calcite in the pineal gland. When we having a good food, we are in tune with ourselves. The pineal gland, it's covered just till the half of the pineal gland with calcite, and the calcite is a mineral that interacts with this hair with the help of the breath work, help to push the cerebrospinal fluid to this calcite, so creates a kind of stress into the pineal gland that induce DMT. It starts like to create a chemistry by the breath work pushing the pineal gland and creates this chemistry, no? This neurotransmitter. There's different ways to induce DMT. Also, you can see here in Cusco so many caves, so many wombs of Mother Earth that you go into altars in completely darkness. Now with science we know that being at least 3 days in completely darkness, your brain starts to produce too much melatonin because there's no light. My eyes are catching the signal of the length of the way of the light because of the sun, and goes into my brain and produce and transform into serotonin, but because of the light. But imagine if you don't have sun and you are in completely darkness, your brain can produce too much serotonin but produce a lot of melatonin. So when you produce a lot of melatonin, then the brain starts to feel that it can see in darkness, as so much production of melatonin creates another alkaloid, another chemistry in the brain that is called pinolene. Darkness is allowing to create melatonin to create pinolene, and pinolene creates DMT, and this is a stimulation from darkness. So DMT can releases by meditation, breath work, plant medicine, being in completely darkness. It's called the spirit molecule by Rick Strassman. The ancients, they were doing this thousands of years ago, and they understand even in a deeper way the properties of DMT in our body. DMT, it's an anti-inflammatory, anti-neurodegenerative, it's a powerful antioxidant, anti-cancerogenal, it's phytoreactive, that it can kill parasites, viruses, bacteria. DMT, when you are more into this spiritual world with the help of DMT, you start to feed yourself through the light, because with closed eyes or open eyes you start to see everything, it's energy, and has divine shapes and divine forms. You see harmony, you see beauty, you see perfection, and as soon as you are accessing into these divine realms, this perfection, this divinity, these symbols are interacting with your third eye. You are start to feed yourself through energy rather than matter.
I definitely was praying for some gentleness and some lightness, and I got that.
You got that?
It really wasn't until we started walking down that I was oh wow. Then I was laughing, and these three monkeys were I don't know, I think you were so sassy walking down the mountain, and then we'd be like, Sarah, and you turn around and you'd be you just had your whip. I don't know, they just I even got lightness out of that, there wasn't any chafing, oh, this person is annoying me, or they're too loud, or they're too, everything was just right,
you can observe yourself,
Yeah.
You can have the chance to observe yourself because you were judging, expecting that. You offer a little sip more, But as soon as you get into not judgment, not that separation of duality, and start to open up, things start to shine, birds, a lot of birds were in one moment above us. A lot of, never have, I've been so many times. We really move so much energy that we make it rain. Really. Sometimes when you lose the attention of nature, and we are mountains start to and push you away. But there needs to be certainly hearts to bring balance into the ceremony, to keep singing, to keep attention. The keros that were praying all the time, to keep in balance while you are doing your stuff, But the rain comes, some stuff, and then it changed, and comes and changes. It was so nice. All these duality aspects that we are interacting with the weather, with the field, with everything, and we were fogging on time, then we open up, it was quite the same,
Science is telling so much what shamanism can do, and shamanism is telling a lot of things that science can do. If we take a look in both, They are telling the same language. And in neuroscience, we can know what's going on with the brain, the heart, the body, when you are in certain state of consciousness. Person who is worried, depressed, or carrying traumas, it's activating certain circuits in a daily basis because it conditioned already its heart, its mind, and its body with a certain belief, and it's filtering its reality through these experiences that these people pass through. With neuroscience, you can see what's going on with the brain, with the heart, and with your body, and now we can know that there's patterns in people that, for example, these people that has like a traumatic experiences, we can now see that they are activating the same circuits because they feel with a certain kind of trauma. There's a releasing of chemics, of hormones that generates these emotions. When we go into neuroscience, we can know that there is a lot of chemistry releasing by a state of consciousness. And when we go into the Andean cosmovision, they were telling the same thing. The Yachai, the Munai, and the Yankai were the three aspects of the human being that basically we need to be aware of that, because the mind is firmly connected to the heart and the heart to the body, creating hormones and chemistry that releases chemics that basically is our emotions. The Yachai, the Munai, and the Yankai, these three aspects, it's feeding my electromagnetic field, my energy, that from there it creates particles of chemistry, of hormones. So basically, if a person is feeling stressed, it's using its energy, its electromagnetic field, it's using the energy from it to create particles of hormones of stress. If you are constantly creating these particles of hormones of stress, you are creating matter from your quantum field, from your energy bubble, from the Pokpo, according to the cosmovision. You're basically using your energy to create more hormones of stress, rather than another kind of neurotransmitters that can release by the brain and by the heart to feel peace, love, to feel different kind of higher states. I think that the person, when it's aware about this connection of the brain, the heart, and the body, the person can understand that it's using its energy to create particles, to create emotions. There is thousands of millions of neural connections in our body that we can access. We can change the circuits. We can use different neural connections according to the signals of the environment. When the person is starting to have a very high refined signals of nature, it starts to access to a different kind of circuits that allows to be happy, to be in peace, to be in harmony. That's why neuroscience is so important, because now we can know that a person that is depressed and then it's having a retreat of 7 days with certain plants, places, and shamanism and stuff. Now we can know the change of the brain connections, how this person is changing the connections in their brain. When we change these signals, these beliefs, we inducing altered states. This person, it's remembering, it's getting into information inside of itself that it's already there, that it's getting into the DNA basically. So now we know that when a person is meditating and just to stop to analyze, and it goes into the heart, the person now it's getting into a different connection in the brain, because it's not now trying to understand or trying to analyze things. So as soon as you suppress the analytic mind and you go into that moment in which you feel completely protected, completely healthy, you're not anymore thinking about your stress and that. So if a person is being trained to go into that field over and over again, it's changing the circuits. It's going into an harmony. I teach people that they have a whole of different constellations of neural connections in their body. They have much more to develop and to discover. This is really interesting because a person who is constantly feeling depressed is using the same circuits every time. We basically got to create a different stimulation to this person with food, with meditation, with plants, with nature, with different kind of signals that goes into a different kind of circuits. Neuroscience is important because now we can see it. We can prove what's going on with the brain and the heart. As soon as the person starts to change the signals of their environment, the person can go into with their heart, and as soon as you do that, you go into a heart and mind coherence. And when you do that, your electromagnetic field starts to increase and to increase. You become more energy rather than matter. You become more wave rather than creating particles of stress. We basically are using the energy, but now to create not hormones of stress, but divine hormones. In the center of the brain, there's neural connections around the pineal gland that is activating when you are having a very strong meditation or a kind of a hypnosis or a DMT experience or a very lucid dream. When that happens, you are more into the subconscious. The connection of the mind, the heart, and the body is firmly connected, and you can like change your body through the mind, or you can change the heart through the body, or you can change the mind through the heart, etc. It's not just about one. We need like to use the three of them to change it. If you want like to change your emotions, to change completely your life, you got to go into a different circuits. But what kind of stimulations I can use to change that? If the person is more in touch with nature and understands nature, it can easily change the circuits in a very short time. But it really needs to leave all these stimulations for some point, to leave all these stimulations and give yourself to another signals. So then you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. Why? Because the body wants to go back into the old circuits. When the person is struggling with plants, with places, we are taking all these darkness into the surface. All these shadows, all these emotions, it's in the surface. It's appearing the circuits that he already is using in his daily basis. But here, when we do the work with plants, with nature, with the places, with shamanism, the person starts to struggle with the old circuits, but in order to change it, we take that into the surface, and then we can see, oh, okay, that's how you feel. I had so many different patients with different conditions. Oana, she had 25 days of plant medicine, shamanism, a lot of different stimulations. She had a condition of MS for so many years. Her belief, because she knows that there's a different way to heal herself. She used so many different conventional medicines to heal herself, but she couldn't. When I was talking to her, I was explaining how these connections works, the stimulations and stuff. So she do 25-day retreat. She came in wheelchair. That was the first day coming in wheelchair. She basically couldn't walk anything. We do several treatments with sananga, rapé, with coca, with psilocybin, with urema, with DMT, with Wilka, with power places, with so many different things. She passed through so many levels of dying several times, and that's what the ancients they were doing, to die, to start over again. But it's a different way of dying. It's plants help you to die completely, so then when you rebirth, you are carrying a new consciousness and new connections, new state of being. In daily basis, we were like changing these beliefs into her so many times, till in the 5th day she was like walking and walking properly. I'm just like helping to show her that you can change it with different stimulation, but you need to keep going in order to respond all the body. She's creating a program with all the sources that I teach to her, so she can like keep activating the circuits we already insert with ayahuasca, with cambo, with rapé, with coca, with all that. As soon as the person it's reviving these moments, going into the meditation and remembering all these states that she passed through, she's activating the circuits. The body starts to respond without taking any more of these plants.
I really feel like in the health state, in the physical health state, I really feel like I'm a lot better with the equilibrium, you know. I can stand up, so that it's very good without, you know. And also it's the left foot, it's lighter. It's much more lighter than it was when I came. I must say that so far the biggest experience was the psilohuasca, which is very, very, very powerful. Also, a very nice experience was when I took the washuma. It is us that create all the circumstances, to get sick. So it should be also us that can get better.
According to Indian cosmovision, Chakarruna means a bridge man who help others to cross, consciousness. When I speak with the Keros, they told me, hey, you are this type of shamanism, this type of, because I work with a divinity rather than the mountains and Pachamama. I work with Pachamama and the mountains, but I go beyond and I go into the divinity with my guides, with my spirits, and I'm crossing the Kaipacha into a higher realm. When you touch that limits, I think that the person is right in the place where it could have a decision, to change it or to keep there. So if you choose it well and you recognize that you are in darkness, then you're ready to go into the light, So first, Indian cosmovision says you go to the condor through the serpent. And the serpent is the darkness, the fear, the shadows, So we like to face that, but it never goes away. So when a person starts to think about itself that I am a shaman, are enclosing again into the utopia of spirituality. I think we need to be careful about what we think we are about ourselves, because we're engaging all the time with certainly vibe and releasing chemistry according to that belief. When you go into master plans and shamanism won't explain you the chemistry behind the plants. And thanks to certainly researchers as Claudio Naranjo, as Albert Hoffman, Dennis McCannon, or Alexander Shulgin, are persons who explore consciousness using several plants around the world and understanding that, okay, I can go into this field not just only using ayahuasca. You can explore consciousness just in your yard, in where you are, just like knowing about which plants are around your country. So ethnopharmacology explains that there's chemistry behind these plants and alkaloids, how it's interacting with our genes, our neurons, and what kind of chemistry is releasing when I'm using a tryptamine, for example. What's a tryptamine? Tryptamine is an essential amino acid that helps us to create more serotonin. The tryptophan can be took by food, but when you take it by food, it just works as a kind of protein, not as a neurotransmitter. Tryptophan in plants, in master plants, works as a neurotransmitter. When you use plants full of tryptophan or tryptamine, allowing you to create more neurotransmitters of serotonin, dopamine. When you go into science, now we know what's going on really with the chemistry behind the plants and the diet. What the shamans they were telling basically, and the science are proving what the shamans are saying, is that certainly foods is affecting your body, so the ayahuasca can interact in a higher state with you. Certainly foods releases a chemic that interacts with ayahuasca vine because it has a MAOI. It's inhibiting an enzyme, and this enzyme it's also important to synthesize certainly foods. It's very interesting ethnopharmacology because you can study the chemistry in the plants and how creates these hormones, the chemistry in your body. Many different kind of plants has the capability to create different or the same neurotransmitters. That's why it's so important. Ethnopharmacology helps me to create different kinds of anahuascas, analogs of ayahuasca, understanding their alkaloids. I start to extract the alkaloids of plants that works as ayahuasca. That's why it's so important for me ethnopharmacology, because I'm creating different spectrums using several plants and using for sending a different signal into the person with the help of these alkaloids that I isolate. When the person starts to understand ethnopharmacology, it needs to, if it wants to heal itself, it can be only with ethnopharmacology. It needs to be also with spiritualism. You need to really connect with the plant, because the plant will show you so many phases, so many stages. It has so many different kinds of tools for you to release the chemistry you need. When you study ethnopharmacology, you can know that there are certainly alkaloids that goes with certainly receptors in your biology that it's helping you to release this serotonin, dopamine. For example, when we take the look of Washuma, it's mescaline, and when you take the look of the molecule of mescaline, it's really, really similar to norepinephrine, which is an hormone release in the kids between 7 to 9 years old. That's why it's interesting that the chemistry that the plant has, and when science starts to study, we can know, okay, so this chemistry or this alkaloid goes with these receptors, goes with these neurons, with these cells. A person can't heal himself just with ethnopharmacology, because it's quite dangerous if you want to induce certain chemistry in your body. You need to take care about the dosage, you need to take care about your food, take care about what emotions you have, if you ritualize beforehand. That's why it's really important to understand nature, not only through science, but also the spirituality behind. Wilka, Jurema, ayahuasca, psilocybe, they are all tryptamines. They create more serotonin, more happiness, more dopamine, But there are another family of entheogens. It's called phenylethylamines. And phenylethylamines goes to a certain kind of receptors that makes us feel more connected to our body, more aware, more present, rather than go out from our body as ayahuasca, as Jurema, psilocybe does. You are not in control with your body. So it's interesting because we can know that there's so many plants, phenylethylamine plants, that can go in a connection with your body. And there's several thousands of different kind of plants that are tryptamines that also go to a different receptors in your body. When we understand that, we can use different stimulations to activate that chemistry that you couldn't release. I had people that had, antidepressants, benzodiazepines, antipsychotics. Even me, I was using all these chemics. When you are doing that, basically these drugs are shutting off the receptors, because your brain, it can't release this chemistry of happiness. So you are conditioning your body with bad emotions. That's why it's helpful to know ethnopharmacology, because now we know, okay, with this plant we can help to release more serotonin instead of shutting off the receptors. That's why he feels bad, because the receptor is asking for that chemistry in their brain. I'm helping the people to release this chemistry in the brain that he couldn't for so many years. That's why plants, shamanism, sacred places, Pachamama, medicinal plants, meditation, breath work, everything, it helps the person to create different connections, different chemistry, different emotions, so installing different beliefs, different software, so it becomes a hardware. We need to rewire ourselves, all the connections. We need to change completely how we see things, how we see ourselves, how we feel, how we eat. When you do that, then the person starts to release this chemistry and starts to be in its homeostatic rhythm, which is carrying my vital signals. I think so many people are trying to heal itself, just trying different plants and entheogens. They have the information that these plants could help you, but there's a big percentage of people that they didn't get anything, even though they try ayahuasca several times and mushrooms and stuff. They lose a very important thing about that. Our consciousness is affecting matter. It's affecting, if you are using a plant to heal yourself, in which kind of vibration or which kind of consciousness you are using this plant to heal yourself. You feel there's doubts, there's certainly doubts, because you are doing this by your own, just researching ethnopharmacology. with science, you just get into a point. You understand, okay, I'm gonna release this chemistry using these plants and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna use mushrooms and stuff to release these, but you forgot that consciousness is affecting the mushroom, is affecting ayahuasca, is affecting that. So even though that you're using mushroom or ayahuasca several times to heal yourself, you're gonna trap into a loop because you're not applying what the plants are teaching you. It's not gonna heal you in one moment. You need to apply what you learn into these dimensions, into this world first. That's why I talk with many people. Yeah, I had mushrooms like 10 years, I had like this and that, but I like never, because you had a belief about that. You maybe use it for, I don't know, for just to enjoy the moment, or just like I'm gonna try, you know. You didn't ritualize, you didn't really give the power to the plant to really work in yourself. You know, the belief is cutting this interaction between the plant and you. The person needs to understand you got to ritualize, you got to make it sacred, you got to give really the power of the plant to heal you. It's not just like understanding the science and the chemistry. The plant will test you, it's a spirit. It can heal you, but you got to put the work too. When a person is like experiencing with ethnopharmacology and trying different plants by its own self, you're not gonna gain much if you don't use spirituality, if you don't ritualize, if you understand that really it's sacred and can like go into this spiritual realm into you and change. If you are give the power, you give the faith, give this communication into the plant to allow to connect with this person, then the plant starts to work in him. You really need to be connected with the plant first, you know, in order to really go into beyond what this plant was teaching you. You know, I learned this with Washuma because I was taking Washuma for 15 years. The last 5 years, it was showing me so much more. So I understood that consciousness is affecting your life, is affecting all the tools that you're using in your life. The person that really understands that its awareness, its consciousness, its belief, understands that it's creating reality, and you give the power to these plants to really change your way of being, I think the plants will test you first. Many times. We need to be aware about that we got like to really connect with the plant and ritualize. But there are like a different state of consciousness according what I'm interacting with. When consciousness starts to interact with different ways of reality, you start to expand your awareness, you start to expand your way of see things, so you are not engaged of just looking things like this. So now you have different perspective of seeing reality. When a person goes, for example, in the bed, is tired, it works all the day, then he goes to the bed and then starts to turn on the TV, you know, it's getting into a relaxation, and then it jumps from beta, which is awake, it falls down a delta state, which is sleepy. That's another state of consciousness that we can like being in our subconscious, dreaming, seeing dreams, seeing visions and stuff, and but we are not interacting with reality. We are like exploring a different reality through our consciousness. So many persons pass through these altered states not only by dreaming. It can be also by using plants, by an accident maybe, or by different ways that makes its state of being to change in a different state. Here in the Andes, there are places that the ancients, they create exactly for that reason, to understand that you can like alter your consciousness and go to a different reality. I call it like chambers of altered states. You know, there are several power places that was done for you to go in and to get in tune with this sacred place and allow you to navigate through consciousness, you know, to cross beyond matter and go into consciousness to see different ways of reality. I'm really using the temple how it was thousands of years ago because I have a connection with this sacred place, and the sacred place shows me what it was for. And there is so many sacred places that interacts with your consciousness in so many ways. It can like take you deep in or take you out beyond. When the person starts to go out from this normal state and starts to interact with divinity, with consciousness, person starts like to have a better life, to have a better communication with nature, to have a strength, to have healthy. We must understand that we have the capability to induce an altered state, so we can go beyond of our normal state, because we condition our body, our mind with the same circuits, the same feelings, you know. So that's why it's important to alter our state, to explore consciousness and to release different feelings. This is really important because we are activating different feelings, different hormones, different aspects of reality. And according to the cosmovision, says that we got to cross over the 33 levels of reality. This is one reality. My consciousness also has the capability to interact with different realities. As you know, science create a microscope and can see the atoms and the cells, that now I can see it. The capability to see as a microscope if I alter my consciousness. You know, I can see as a macroscope, as a telescope, to see the universe, to see many things, you know, because consciousness has that capability to interact with the whole.
The world is duality, and in my shadow live all the serpents which were clouding my mind, where all the temptations, wrongdoing. Suddenly I felt like I get to purge and let them go, and I was like pushing them, but like they were like no. So I changed my approach and I said, thank you for being with me for 45 years, but now it's time for you to go home.
There we go.
And I don't think I ever puked as relaxed as I was puking, like there was no muscle movement, there was just stuff coming out of me, sliding off, and drinking more water because I felt there was still something there, it needs to be diluted apparently to come out. And again, coming out, it was happening back and forth. I had Maestros helping me towards the end of it and pulling other stuff out of my back and vomiting for me. And there was again, the big one was always at the end. And I tried different methods, different conversations, showing him like, this is my new life. There is no home for you. Like, you will be sick in here. So you can either go free, because I'm not gonna push you. And then at some point it hit me. I was like, you know what? I have enough. If you don't wanna go this way, you're gonna go through the cropper. And then I went to the bathroom about like 3 times and everything relaxed. And I thought there was more, but I think there was just sensations, and I appreciate Mitsu came to me and said like, just lay down and relax. Because again, they see more than I can see in a moment.
The brain waves, how is the flow of consciousness in the brain? There's different circuits activating according what you're thinking, if you are not thinking, if you're stressed, depressed. There's 4 brain wave activity that a normal person passes through these states during the day. This is beta, alpha, theta, delta. There is a 5th one, which is gamma state, is the 5th one. We are all the time in beta. As soon as I wake up, I like see my phone, my emails. I'm like trying to analyze, to analyze and to just trying to figure it out things all the time. When we are in beta, it says it's between 24 hertz to 32. At that range, we are like analyzing, but when you are over-analyzing things, you are getting into high beta, which is stress. You are getting into stress, you are like creating hormones of stress basically, and you are constantly rush. You had a mood unconscious because you programmed your body into high beta because you are stressed. At some point, if you condition your body into high beta for so long, this is going to create an illness. When we see the brain with brain maps, with EEG, these devices that we can see the state of consciousness of a person, what kind of a state he mostly is according his life. Beta and alpha are conscious, you are still awake, you're here, but theta and delta, you are in the unknown, you are in the unconscious. These four brainwave activity, we pass through all the day this, but a kid is always in alpha. A kid is always like being on the present, it's always like enjoying the moment, it's not stress, it's just like living, the moment. There's a brainwave activity on the kid, and we can see that it's completely healing all the time. It's not like stress, so that like cuts the flow of the energy fields, so doesn't allow the healing to appear. When we are constantly in beta, we are basically all the time analyzing, right? And then in which time, if we think about it, in what moment on the day we really sit down and just being an observer of all the things that we are not paying attention. I mean, your heartbeat, the flow of the blood in your veins, and that happens when you go inside of yourself. You're not outside. So beta and alpha, it's outside, and theta and delta, it's inside. So when I close my eyes and I just stop thinking, analyzing, I am suppressing the analytic mind, and I'm going into a different part of my brain, which is the limbic brain. And there is where it's moving the flow of the consciousness from the neocortex to the limbic brain. And in that center, in that part, you are more holistic. The oscillation of the different kind of neuroreceptors, neurotransmitters are having connections, but in the center of the brain, in the middle of the brain. So, we have two hemispheres. One that it's more imagination, and more creativity. The other that it's more the memory, and all what we hold on in ourselves. So dividing these two hemispheres, we are constantly separating things and trying to conceive things through duality. But when we go into meditation, we slow down the brainwave. We slow it down. We just not think anymore. I don't know who I am, where I am, and when I get into that moment, into that space, the flow of the consciousness pass off the limbic brain, and you are getting into alpha. You are more into a relaxation. If you can hold on for a few minutes in that space, I think it's that you are mastering your brain to get into that, because not so many people has the availability or the ability to really cross from beta to alpha. They can just sit down and in 5 minutes, be relaxed. They are losing their time, basically. They are feeling that they are losing their time. They are not in the moment. In that way, we can know if a person really can be relaxed just sitting down in 5 minutes, because it's feeling uncomfortable. When you mastering how you slow down the brain wave through different kind of stimulation, not just meditation, you are going more into the harmony, because you are not thinking. So when you are not thinking, there's a divine order inside of you that takes advantage at that moment, because you are not thinking, analyzing, you're not going against your heart. When we are in tune with our heart and we are feeling our heart and going into that field, this electromagnetic energy starts to higher up, and your brainwave starts to slow down, getting into a heart and mind coherence. And when that happens, you start to heal immediately. It's instant healing. It's really, really incredible how the body has the capability to heal very easily, but we need to know how to cross from beta to alpha, then to theta. When you get into theta, you're basically in the getting sleep, falling asleep, So high meditators, they can hold hours, being on theta, just sitting down. Mastering the brain is like going into the unknown, but aware, not unconscious. When we get into the bed and then we are falling asleep, at that moment we are like healing. There's 3 cycles of deep sleep that we pass during the night, and there is a whole chemistry that is going on when we are in very deep sleep. When we are there into this very deep sleep, we get into low delta, very, very low delta. So when you are in very, very low delta, you are starting to heal even quickly. You are creating more melatonin, hormones in your body, the blood pressure, everything starts to organize, to heal all the cells, taking advantage that you are not there stressing yourself, That's why the doctors also says, hey, you got to rest, so you can heal yourself. The body and the mind and the heart, it's firmly connected. But if I'm constantly thinking, I'm not giving the chance to my body to heal. So it's just only when I go into bed. We need to master in the brain how to go into alpha, theta, and if you can go into delta, that's incredible, that's amazing, because you are doing in an aware way, not just falling asleep and getting there, But if you can go there by just going into a sacred place and sitting down and feeling the energy, and mastering to go into the unknown, going into this field, into your subconscious, but being aware. There's a fifth one, which is the gamma. The gamma state, it's very rarely appear, and that appears mostly with, that's what I mostly do with people, to induce into gamma states with entheogens, with sacred places. Gamma state, it's when you go in very, very deep inside of yourself, crossing all these 4 brainwave activities, or this 4 state of consciousness. When you cross over that, you are more aware of the outside and inside. You are completely aware of everything. You can be everywhere. It's you are more into that unified field, as many quantum physics says. So when you go into this field, they map your brain. We can see that there is a very high activation in your brain and even in your heart, because you are living something while you are not in reality. That's gamma. It's something it's happening, but very, very deep in yourself. Gamma, it's a state when the person can go inside in the subconscious and go and to see so many information from it, and to get to heal from it. Because when we allow to go into that very deep in ourselves and see visions through dreams, through very vivid dreams, you need to train that. You need to have a process to understand these brainwave, to understand consciousness, to understand the energy fields. You start to use only the source of nature to heal yourself, the divine order that is inside of yourself. You have a homeostatic rhythm. This homeostatic rhythm is following the vital signals, that of all my body. It's following that every vital signals of my body got to be okay, But that happens when I'm not analyzing. So when I'm sleeping, the body is healing, So there is theta healing, for example. People who train how you go into theta, from beta. I'm in beta now. I'm thinking, analyzing, But how come you can go into theta when it's supposed to be sleeping, almost sleeping? You are in the door. Now we know that when we slow down the brainwave and we go into the heart, we are not analyzing anymore. We go into that field. We start to heal.
So that's what entheogens does, masterclass does, nature does. So many different ways to go into these deep states of ourselves and to rewire all ourselves, all our cells, all our life. The body is constantly storing information and chemistry, releasing chemistries. We just need 4 hours of deep sleep, and with that you are like regenerating all your cells, all your body. Beta, it's between 24 to 32 hertz. Then when it's going higher than 32, it's your stress, basically. You are like when you are more than high beta, you're stressed. So if you slow down your brainwave and you go into alpha, which is like between 16 to 24 hertz, that means that you're enjoying the moment, you're okay, you're maybe listening to music, you're like more into a present moment. When you go into theta is when you are like in the door of the getting sleep. You are more into a meditative state. In theta is between 8 to 16. Between that range, theta, there's different forms of ways to go there. In theta, there's people that they can go there being aware, but mostly we go into theta just falling asleep. High meditators go into theta easily, but being awake. If you can hold for very prolonged moments in this field, in this space, in the unknown, no thinking, no analyzing, you go into this field, you are mastering yourself to be in a heart-mind coherence, more into a feeling, more into senses, more into the present moment, but in theta, which is very rare. Then when you completely fall asleep, it's delta, and delta is between 0.4 to 4 hertz, more or less. In delta, it's when the healing starts. Well, in theta, in delta, but in delta, you are very, very deep into your subconscious. So if you can like be in delta for so much time, a period of time, very long period of time, you are healing very fast. Then it's gamma, and gamma state, it's a state that appears when someone is having like a kind of a transcendental state, a divine moment, or a very vivid lucid dream, we call it, or a DMT experience. Gamma, it's basically going into a hyper higher consciousness. You are aware into the inside and into the outside. It's a state that the flow of the consciousness is more into the center of the brain, and there's like a very, very high deviation from, we're talking about like 100 to 200, 300 deviations from beta, which beta was like 32 hertz. You're getting stressed, but going into 400 hertz, 300 hertz, of activation, but you are like in deep meditation. You are not freaking out. Gamma state, it's also a way to go into different neural circuits, because you're using the whole part of the brain, different parts of the brain, different parts of the body, feeling all our cells, all outside, all inside. You're everywhere. That's gamma, and that's what we can see with brain map, with altered states, what's going on in these moments. Huacas in Quechua means sacred places. We are in one right now. This is Huaca Urco. There's like 341 sacred places around Cusco. Cusco is a neighbor, and sacred places was built exactly on ley lines, and in Quechua this was mean seques. So the seques, according the Incans, there was 41 seques, and there was a main vortex. Well, there still is a main vortex, which is in Cusco City, Coricancha, sacred place, or sacred Huaca. So in Coricancha departs 41 energy lines around the world, as in different parts of the world they have other main vortexes. So here in Cusco there's one that the ancients they recognize, and they call it the Cosco. Cosco in Quechua means the navel. Basically, so many people they come into the navel to recognize the original mom, that you come from Pachamama, that you come from this great mother, the Gaia. So the sacred places were created by our ancestors in exactly these ley lines that run from Cusco, Coricancha sacred place. These sacred places, these Huacas, has a different role, different interaction with consciousness if you understand the Andean cosmovision a little bit. There are like Ukupacha, Kaipacha, and Hananpacha Huacas, Huacas that works with the inner world, the serpent realm. This is a Ukupacha place. You can see the serpent carved here in this place. The Ukupacha, it's like a way to go inside in yourself. It's the serpent realm, it's the wisdom, it's the knowledge, and you will find like so many sacred power places or Huacas that will connect with the serpent realm, will take you to this inner world. You will find a lot of serpents carved in Cusco City. We're talking about like temples of thousands of years that you still can see the serpent carved on the rocks. There's Huacas also with feline representation. There's Andean trilogy, we call it, the serpent, the puma, and the condor. So there are sacred Huacas with energy of the feline. That's trying to mean that you got to integrate what you're going into the serpent, or whatever you're going into the beyond. You got to bring it into this world, into your body, into this moment. So there are Huacas that teach you specifically that. So the ancients, they were using the sacred places to understand the inner world, the middle world, and the higher world, or the higher consciousness. That is the condor. The puma is my body, and the serpent, it's my wisdom. It's my subconscious. It's all what I program, my beliefs, all that is inside of myself. It's darkness too, all my shadows. According to the Andean cosmovision, you got to pass through these sacred Huacas to release energies, to release a lot of what you are engaging or storing in your body, as in an energetical level. We are constantly interacting with the field. So there are sacred Huacas, power places, that are meant to be for you to release this hucha in Quechua, that it means dense energy. So there are 4 types of energy according to Andean cosmovision, which is dense, heavy, subtle energy, and refined energy. So you first got to release the hucha, to release the dense and the heavy energy into certainly sacred places. You need to have respect for the Huacas and to really understand the uses, how to use these sacred places. You need to ask the place beforehand you're gonna enter, because you can grab some dense energy from it. But if you go with respect and you connect with, you ask permission, these sacred places are energy eaters. They eat the dense and the heavy energy. Pachamama likes to take this density from you, the mountains too. When you do that and you allow your density through ancient practices, like Sami meditation, for example, which is absorbing vital energy from sacred places too. But when you are releasing the hucha into another sacred places, then you are in a perfect way to receive refined energies. That's what the ancients, they were doing, using the seques, the ley lines, building sacred power places, Huacas, along the lines, understanding the grid of the earth, understanding the grid of yourself, using these ley lines and these power places, which was done with exactly very specific minerals, very specific type of rocks, very specific cuttings. You can show divinity in every single angle, perfection, that it's affecting our consciousness just sitting down there. There's a whole information in these sacred places that can guide you and teach you about who you are, what you have, where you're going, what you do with your life, or so many things. So Huacas are meant for that, are meant for you to rebirth, to go into the womb of Mother Earth and to experience a rebirth, giving yourself to the Huaca, to the sacred place, to give your energy into it, so you allow into a higher temples, higher Huacas that are meant to give you vital energy. That's what I do into people. I take to sacred power places that has a certain alignment with the sun, with the moon. There is Archean astronomy in these places when you are waiting for the sunrise of the equinox or of the solstice, and there is specifically alignments on these sacred places that the light interacts with the energy and electromagnetic field of the place and your heart-mind coherence, and we get in tune into that. You're receiving so much energy, so much power. You are a completely magnet, and whatever you start to meditate and to visualize and absorbing the light of the sun, you are creating. You are giving more energy into your thoughts. You're using the light to create more matter. That's what the ancients they were doing, understanding these electromagnetic fields, this grid of Mother Earth, building sacred power places with specific rocks that interacts with our genes, that interacts with our memory, and specifically dates, specifically moments when you really need that. Taking a plant, let's say Wilka, for example, that it's been found Wilka in these sacred places, so they were using all this information, plants, math, astronomy, energy, quantum physics. There was so much more, and they left so much maps here in these sacred places, and information is in the rocks. And if you allow to connect with it, the rocks will talk to you and will guide you, will tell you so much about you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the world, to my ancestors here in Peru. Thank you to all what I been reaching in the Andes, for allowing me to share this to you. I'm writing books about the so many hundreds of people that I carrying the reports of them. I'm still every day healing different people, but it's so hard for me to keep writing so many experiences, but doing this documentary, I think that it's like a portal for so many to understand that they have so much inside, and they can just get in tune with nature whenever you feel the call. If you feel the call, I am here for you guys to show you these divinities, these sacred places, the medicinal plants, the locals here, the Queros people. There's so much, I'm still keep learning every day here in Cusco. Feel welcome, to come here to the navel of one of the navels of the world, Entheogens, Peru, Soul Sanctuary, a retreat center, a holistic retreat center based on Andean cosmovision, shamanism, and healing through master plans, through pilgrimages to sacred places, Andean encounters as well, which is my sustainable tour operator that I support Andean communities, also trying to bring balance. Many people they want to support they come and they just to conventional tourism, but
There is a different way to do tourism too, sharing the Andean cosmovision, the mythology, without the entheogens, without the. This is more for people that they feel the call, to just cross over reality and to understand that we have so much more to interact with. Thank you to everyone, and you are very welcome to come to Costco and to experience deep on the heart of Mother Earth and to connect with your higher self, and to understand more about Pachamama, and Huiracocha, the creator. Thank you, and love you so much. Gracias por mirar este hermoso documental. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Whoa, just like a dragonfly cross was Turkish.